quite literally in bliss. As I put my headphones on to start recording, because with the headphones it picks up sounds, like sensitive sounds, and I could really hear the birds just twittering, tweeting, and it is so sweet, so sweet. I was about to hit record and I'm like, I might just stay with the birds a little longer, and then I did, and now I'm sharing the birds with you. You might not be able to hear them, but I can. And I have Bailey underneath my desk. I tell you what, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for Bailey and Daisy. They literally keep me company as I am doing quite a big project at the moment. And they are my little mates. They are my mates. When I walk downstairs, when I go to get fresh air, when I go fill up my water, when I go and do a wee, they're like, oh, okay, we're moving now. And I love them. Love them so much. I love you, boy. I don't know where your sister is. I'm sure she'll poke her head around the corner and look like a little ning-nong. I'd like to share with you the immediacy of a shift that I felt quite literally when I turned 38. And depending upon your perception, you'll think 38's old, you'll think 38's midlife, you'll think 38 is super young, right? I'm just talking from 38 years on the planet. And I've mentioned a few times inside of this podcast that at the beginning of October, I stated that one thing that I wanted to let go of was the stories in my head. And I said it so like, that's what I want to let go of. And holy dooly, I must have meant it. I must have really meant it, because it's like the universe lined up and goes, yeah, cool, I'm really ready for you to let go of this too. And what I feel, I'm just going to share with you with what's kind of going on at the moment. And I know that's what I do anyway, but I'm just sharing with you like in real time what's going on at the moment. What I feel is like I have entered into the door that is leading me into my 40s. I don't know how else to say it because that's just how it feels. And for those of you listening who may have gone through that Saturn return period when and I know we go through Saturn returns every 30 years, so you could be in your second Saturn return or your first, or past it. And it's like when you turn 27, 28 and things just start to fucking happen. The questions start to happen about your life, your relationship with food, your relationship with your well-being, your relationship with money, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the universe, your relationship with life. That Saturn return period it's meant to be there to invite you to come back into alignment with yourself. And sometimes we will hear that call, we'll feel it, and we'll work with it. Other times we might, yes, hear it, but then want to work completely against it. And then, or we may be completely oblivious to it and be so deep in sleep and deep in, I don't want no other way. This is the way it is just the way it is. The way I am is the way I am. And I feel like I am having one of those experiences now. And so anyone who is listening to this and has been through this or is relating to this, I'd love to hear from you, because that's what I feel like is taking place. I feel like I have literally been invited into this door, which is leading me up to 40. And you know, when you get something conceptually, when you're like, I know I've got to let go of this and I know I got to let go of that, but you're still like, I know I gotta, but I'm still going to fucking hang on to it. I'm still going to play with it. I'm still going to muck around with it, and keep it in my reality. It's like, sorry, I keep banging the microphone. When I turned 38, the door opened and it was just like, that shit ain't fucking welcome. Sorry. And you got to drop it now. You got to drop it now. Drop it right now. You're dropping control, girlfriend. I mean, control is awesome in some areas of your life, but the fucking areas that you have held onto it where it doesn't serve you, you're leaving it behind this door. The way you've looked at your body, spoken about your body, whatever is staying back at the door. All this stuff. And I actually wrote down, I've been, as you may know, I've been doing this Qigong practice. And not only am I doing the movement Qigong practice, but there's also other arms of Qigong. And one of them is a clearing of emotion through sound and through accessing the certain organ and bringing sound and a bit of breath and movement to it. Oh my goodness, that is a very subtle practice, but jeepers, it is potent. And I am I am in the after effects of the potency of the simple practice. And so once I did this practice, I wrote down 38, turned 38, things that I'm done with. Things that I'm done with. That my body can no longer withstand. That my mind is so done with holding on to. That I'm just done with. Thoughts that I'm done with. Stories that I'm done with. Ways of being that I'm done with. Perspectives that I'm done with. I wrote down 38 things. And I must say, probably the first 12 was like, wrote down with ease. And then after that, I was like, all right, I need to just contemplate a little bit, feel into this a little bit. And after I did that, I have felt an enormous release of emotion. When I was doing the Qigong practice, I was working with the emotion of sadness and tapping into the organ that's associated with that, breathing in a different emotion to surpass sadness, and then sounding out a certain sound. And then that's when I was called to write down the 38 things. And then I woke up the next day and I felt like I had been hit by a bus, metaphorically, but emotionally. Oh, I felt like I was carrying around lead in my body. I'm like, wow, okay, this is potent. This is interesting. And then I went through the day, did, what I needed to do and showed up to what I needed to show up to. And then Steve was like, let's go for a walk and we'll take the dogs to the oval and let them have a run, because Daisy was getting, in Tagalog, Filipino, there's this saying where you're nangigigil, when you're like you're all kind of like tensed up. And so we say to Daisy, like, okay, Steve, she's nangigi, which is nangigigil. We need to take her for a run around the oval. Anyway, got to the Oval, not very far from our house, and I literally fell to my knees and I just said to Steve, I cannot walk another step. I am exhausted. Came home and I'm pretty sure I made myself dinner. I might have made the girls dinner, and it was 7:30 and I took myself to bed. You know when you can't fight your body and your body speaks so loudly that you just have to listen. I guess what I have observed is that my head had done a really good job of being the leader and being the controller, dictator, conductor. And I guess with this intention of wanting to let go of stories, with turning 38, with this Qigong practice that I have been practicing, with writing down the 38 things, it's just like boom, 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 boom. I can't hold on the way that I've held on. I can't keep going the way that I've kept going. I can't keep doing what I've been doing and expecting something different. And so 7:30, and even Mia, I was making dinner. Mia was like, Kitty, you seem really tired. I'm like, dude, I'm knackered. And so 7:30, tucked myself into bed. Did not think that I was going to go to sleep. Did not wake up until 7:30 the next day. And that was my body speaking. That was my body releasing the weight, heaviness, whatever it is that I had been carrying without being aware of it, and letting it go. And ever since, the last couple of days I've still felt exhausted, and I've really listened to my body. I've been sleeping till 7:30 a.m., which is quite a decent sleep in for me. Usually I'm up at 6:20, but I'm just listening. And I've also been taking in the Hawaiian healing practice, Ho'oponopono. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it is a beautiful healing practice where you say to yourself, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you. And it might not be in that exact order, but that is the Ho'oponopono practice. And I've just been meshing all of these really subtle, beautiful practices, applying them, and I have been experiencing a beautiful shift, a very beautiful shift. And as I walk into 38, now 38 in 2 weeks or however long it's been, I just know, that the way that I have operated in certain aspects of my life, they're just not going to be there anymore. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. There's a doneness. And I know I spoke about this in a few podcasts ago. And the healing continues. You really are you're in real life healing with me, because I'm sharing about it, where it starts and the middle of it, and then the post middle of it. And I'm sure there'll be post middle of it. But it's a very tender time, sensitive time, gentle time. So many things done. So many things that it's like my 40-year-old self. Again, I can't explain it other than this. She just won't allow it. She won't allow it. And there's this, if I tap into the vision of my 40-year-old self, there's this real no-ness to her. And by no-ness, I mean what she won't accept, what she won't accept, what she won't put up with, what she won't tolerate. I'd say in my 20s, I tolerated I'd say in my teens and my to up to mid 20s, I tolerated so much abuse from myself. So much abuse from myself. In my 30s, I've been navigating uh, ways and practices and approaches to life that create space from the stories of abuse and abusing myself, talking poorly to myself. And I just feel that as I near to 40 and she's there, she's like, oh, we ain't fucking tolerating none of that. None of that. Sure, there's going to be um, challenges and so-called problems and things to navigate, but this ain't it. And I'm like, all right. I surrender. And I'm laughing and crying at the same time. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got like a few tears in my eyes because I'm just as I'm talking, thinking about all the cats that I have envisioned in terms of authentic cat. And I've never felt this level of authentic cat, that 40-year-old authentic cat, where she just doesn't, there's a level of shit she just is not going to take. And there's a fierceness about it. Ooh, all right. Okay, I'm in preparedness and the practice of not tolerating this. So when I step into her over the next few years, it's just like, oh, cool. Now I know why. Fuck, I know why. Because the opportunities that will present themselves, the people that I interact with at that time in my life, there's just no fucking space for this jargon, for this story to play out. Long enough, girlfriend. Stories played out long enough. Put a full stop at the end. And it is the end of that story taking up so much space. And that's what I think I've realized is the amount of energy that has been absorbed by certain stories that I've probably left open for too long. I've probably just kind of gone, yeah. I got it under wraps. This enoughness, this doneness has showed me, how much energy and occupancy it's taken from me, life force, chi, and that's not cool. That's not cool with the me now as I'm moving through this, but it definitely ain't fucking cool with 40-year-old cat. And I am down for 40-year-old cat. And I am down for doing what I got to do, unravel what I got to unravel, be done with whatever I got to be done with to like step into that. So that's my current learning, my current processing. And it makes all the pain, difficulty of doing the work and being on this path of authenticity, being on this road of stepping into authentic self at 20 and 25, at 27, at 32, at 38, and then 40, and then, oh my God, imagine 50-year-old authentic cat. Fuck me. Ha! I'm excited. I'm excited. So I am lifting from heaviness, lifting from the heaviness of the work and the heaviness of the learnings and the heaviness of the teachings. And now I'm like, rock and roll. What else? You know, what else? But just also give me a minute to breathe before what else, but also what else? Anyway, I'm sharing this in my hope to inspire you, encourage you to keep going on the trajectory of your authentic self. Because we will meet different versions of that. We will call in different versions of that. The shit that my 40-year-old self is not taking, I'm like, I could not have adopted that level of authentic self at 27, you know, because there were other lessons and authentic self cat to be at 27 that have made me ready for, oh, cool. You ain't taking no shit from yourself. And so therefore you ain't taking no shit from others, you know? And that's what I mean. You will continue to expand this authentic you. Simplify authentic you. And my sharings, like I said, it's my hope that it encourages you to stay on path. And the stories that I impart and the real-time healings that I share, them. As you see me process it, it's my hope that you go, fuck, I'm in that too. Or, oh, I was in that. Now I know what that is for the next time. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm down for this. I'm down to enter into this door and the lead up to 40-year-old Kat. She's a legend. She's a legend.